rolling.
Oh my gosh.
Woo!
We can just go.
I mean, yeah.
My goodness gracious. I love this arena. I love everything.
It's so good.
There is nothing that could bring me down right now. We just watched Mark Pope sign every single, this whole first row, we saw Mark Pope sign every single autograph, take every single picture. And there was one fan, the very last UK fan in the stands. Mark Pope goes up. He's on a FaceTime call with his grandmother. And Mark Pope sits there and has a 20, 30-second FaceTime call with his fan's grandmother. Just vibes could not be more immaculate right now, Steven, because guess what? The Cats win again.
Wow.
There's something about this damn building. The Cats win again, 78-73 here in Knoxville. Steven Peake, just as we all expected.
Oh, just as you might have expected. Man, you did it again. I got the news from Lamont. I got it from you. You sent a text message. I won't repeat what it said. But I knew it was bad.
There were a lot of stars.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, some asterisks and stuff. But I saw that message, and I thought, we got to go down there and watch us lose. And I just got it in my head where there was just no chance. And I just didn't see how, without a point guard, you were going to – this is one of the best defenses in the country.
The best.
And they forced turnovers, and I just thought, man, we had 17, at Vanderbilt. Kentucky had 17 at Vanderbilt. I just thought the recipe for disaster. What were you seeing? Because the whole way down, Jack is trying to tell me dude, just calm down. They're gonna win. I'm like borderline depressed on the way down here.
You were a mess. You really were just like, I don't even know why we're driving down. This drive's stupid. I hate everything. And I was like, dude, shut the hell up. We're gonna go win. We're gonna go win the basketball game. Just chill. You are wasting negative energy. Anyway, the confidence came from a just free flowing. What do we have to lose? We're playing with house money. You're down your starting point guard. You're down your backup point guard. Andrew Carr plays 2 minutes tonight. He was basically a scratch. Yep. Not in position to play. Bless his heart. We got to get him back healthy, but just not his day. Gave it one good run and said, nope. So Kentucky is down to its top 6, essentially. And then you lean on Travis Perry, you lean on Colin Chandler, you lean on Trent Noah and just say, hey, what can we get? Can we steal minutes here and there just to try to grind out this gutsy win with Jackson Robinson, your technical starting point guard, Kobe Brea bringing the ball up every once in a while, Amari Williams, when Pope, the press conference started, somebody said, hey, what do you think of the point guard by committee? How do you think the point guard position said? He said, well, let me start with Amari Williams. That just kind of tells you what this night was about. Just an unbelievable all-in, 5 guys scoring in double figures. It wasn't just one guy. It was, hey, we got to come together and win this as a cohesive unit. And by golly, they made it happen, Steven.
Unbelievable. I'm looking at the numbers right now. Kobe Brea, 5 for 5 from the field, 3 of 3 from 3, and none bigger, I thought, than the one that he hit late in the second half, right as Tennessee had hit a big 3. He answers. That one looked pretty deep. I think this is one of the most impressive wins of the Mark Pope era. Considering what he had to do to win this one, you mentioned Colin Chandler. He played 15 minutes tonight. I really think Colin Chandler's going to be a great basketball player.
I've always thought that.
But
always.
For what he brought today in 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't hurt you. He didn't. He had 1 turnover. He had 1 assist.
Defensively, he was brilliant.
And he was great defensively, yeah, that's what I was going to say.
A lot of what they were losing with Lamont Butler with on-ball pressure. I thought Colin was terrific. Gave you essentially nothing offensively. Moved the ball well, kind of got the ball moving, but defense is where you needed him, and he stepped up. But it was, you can go down the list, Steven, and you could name 5 different guys as your MVP.
Ansley.
My personal MVP, my personal favorite player on the team. Ansley Almanor, a guy who just...
Daggers. Daggers.
Just ride with me on this. Ansley Almanor, coming from Fairleigh Dickinson, mid-major player, comes in, has 1 year left of eligibility. Although if the 5th-year rule passes, maybe he gets an extra one. But goes in thinking this is his last ride. Goes from Fairleigh Dickinson to the University of Kentucky and says, "I'm in Kentucky, bro. Like, I'm going to take every single shot that I can take. I'm going to launch. I'm going to shoot with confidence. I'm going to talk trash." Like, his press conferences are the absolute best because he runs his mouth and says, like, quotey things. And he's like, "I don't care. I'm in Kentucky. Like, this is my last ride. Why would I not have fun doing this?" He plays with such unbelievable joy that watching him play makes me like, it's like it unleashes my inner kid. It's like, hey, he's living out my dream. Of
that's a good point.
He's just happy to be here. And he goes out and has embraced this role as the, like, hey, you're not going to be the leading shooter. You're not going to be the leading scorer. You're not going to get the most touches. Not going to get the most minutes. But, hey, we need you. You have a very specific role that we're carving out for you. And he's like, aye, Captain, I'm going to crush it.
4 of 7.
The way he has embraced it and continues to just produce and produce and produce. I love that guy. Ansley Almanor is the absolute best, and Kentucky does not win the game without Ansley Almanor.
Is he 8 of 12 the last 2 games from 3?
Go back the last 5 games.
Since Florida, he's been on fire.
He's like 18 of 23 or something, just dumb.
Here's what stands out to me in the stat sheet, and then I want to talk to you about some like specific moments in the game, but like 12 of 24 from 3. And Tennessee shot 45 threes. That is coaching. It's like they baited them in to shooting. Literally, I thought that this would be reversed. I mean, like Tennessee would shoot 24, Kentucky would have to shoot 45. They shot 45 threes, and they only made 11 of them. But the other thing, I thought Mark Pope argued for some calls, and Kentucky got some calls in the second half. Because that first half,
darn it, golly,
I heard that is bull crap. I heard a grown man yell across the court, that is bull crap. And it worked. And I thought, like, there were some calls that I have never seen Mark Pope as pissed off. He wouldn't say those words.
Peed off.
Ticked off as Mark Pope was in that first half. There was a call where the ball clearly went off Tennessee. Ended up not hurting Kentucky because they missed a 3 anyways. They missed a 3. One of their, 34 misses from 3. But he was on the officials and he kept saying, like, hey, we're going to get that call next time, right? And he's so funny the way he argues. And I can, like, when I'm sitting down there just to hear.
It's like positive, passive aggressive.
Yeah, it is. But it worked. And he was arguing for over-the-back calls in Kentucky. Got a couple of those. I thought that was like one of the things I thought he did well. But what else did you see from how Mark Pope was able to, like you said, take your top 6 guys, and then if you'd have told me at the beginning of the season that Colin Chandler and Trent, we would be relying on them in this game, well, I would have thought exactly what I thought coming into today.
I think there was just a level of confidence in his guys to just be like, hey, we know the circumstances. We know that we're dealing with some pretty tough circumstances. Just go win. Just Colin Chandler, you have to go win us these 3 possessions. Go lock up Chaz Lanier for these 3 possessions, and we'll call it win. Just the way he hit singles throughout the game. The way Kentucky in the second half, the way they responded after, you get up in comfort zone in the second half against Vanderbilt, and you go, hey, they're probably in a position to go win this game. 8 minutes left, you're up by 7-8 points. If you just kind of hang on tight, you have enough there. You have enough juice left in the tank to go win that game. They let go of the rope. You just don't like that response. You don't like the resolve there, and it just you could kind of tell that got under the entire team's skin. In this game, it was the exact same position. They were put 14-minute mark. They get up by 8, and then they kind of just chip away, keep it within striking distance down to the 8-minute mark, and it's still like 8 points, 9 points, and you're like, uh-oh. This is exactly where they let go of the rope last time. And they tried. There were some frustrations there at the end.
Oh, yeah. Up 8.
A million.
With the ball.
A million offensive rebounds Tennessee pulled off. And just there was a magnet, the opposite magnets on all of our guys' hands. Ball
18.
just bouncing out of bounds. It got to the point where it was like, you cannot make this stuff up. We physically cannot grab onto the ball.
I was losing my mind.
But
literally. I mean, I was going crazy.
But it was just enough. They did just enough. They didn't let go of the rope. They kept chipping away. The officiating stunk.
I heard somebody from Tennessee came in, I guess Tennessee reporter, and he told the guy next to him, he's like, well, Tennessee flat out got cheated. And I was like,
I heard that too. I said,
oh yeah.
Excuse me?
You're notorious.
Game?
This place is notorious for when the visiting team comes in, they just get a bunch of calls. Of course. Look, you're on the road. You know you're going to get a bad whistle. I thought Kentucky did a great job overcoming that. But I went up to just be with some Kentucky fans. I was like, from the 8-minute mark to the 4-minute mark, I wanted to be with the Big Blue Nation. And it was so intense up there. This game, I got booed by fans. I got
booed.
I wore Kentucky's. I usually don't, so I can just. I don't know. You just get more attention. You draw more attention. But I got booed. I got flipped off, and then I had a couple drunk Tennessee fans up there threaten me because I was pointing a camera not at them. That's what I love. I love this. It's a rivalry. It's how it should be. They should be talking trash to us, and we get the last laugh every time we go into this building. But at 8 minutes, or Kentucky up 8 with the ball, and you give them 2 points, and you come down and you turn it over again. And I'm like, why is Jackson Robinson not in the game? Well, I go down here for the final 4 minutes. I look in the bench, and they're just like energy supplements and rolling his. I mean, that kid toughed it out. He was exhausted. He was dealing with cramps. I don't know what else, but you just tell these guys gave everything they got. They were drained by the end of this game.
34 minutes for Jackson Robinson, and he set the tone with some massive makes to start the game. It just kind of was like, okay, we're right. Like we're not going to just take the first punch and go, well, you go up 12-4, hit 4 3-pointers. Mm-hmm. You're feeling that momentum, and you're trying to silence this crowd. We talked to a Tennessee employee after the game, and they were like, it just wasn't as loud in here as it usually is.
It was, yes.
And a big
good point.
part of that is because Kentucky, Kentucky led for 35 minutes. That's how you take them out of their game. That's how when the officials are in a position to swing calls one way or the other, that's how you take them out of it. You don't let the crowds, overpower the, the officials like we saw against Vanderbilt and, some of those swing calls. You take them out of their game, crush that momentum. And I thought Kentucky they set the tone early. They controlled the pace. They scored 78 points on the road and against the number 1 scoring defense in college basketball, for them to score 78 points, hit 12 threes, they kind of did exactly what if you were going to go down the list of like, hey, here's the blueprint to a win. They got to do these 3 things, I would say hitting a dozen threes was
50%
was way up there. I would say scoring, hitting that 70-point mark. I was on the KSR pregame show. I said, I think if you get to the 70-point mark, you should feel pretty darn good that things are just going to work out. And I think they were able to do both of those things. But an unbelievable effort for Kentucky, a gutsy. And let's talk about it because now we're here. It's officially time for the game on
turning
Saturday.
the page to Arkansas.
But there is just such a relief to not have a 3-game losing streak going into that one. That was the one thing that you were like, that's just not fair to these guys that didn't have anything to do with that rivalry, didn't have anything to do with the, Coach Cal stuff. Jackson Robinson had nothing to do with that. Ansley Almanor, Amari Williams, Andrew Carr, none of them had anything to do with the Coach Cal, Mark Pope dynamic.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to put that unnecessary pressure on those guys and kind of the bigger noise.
Where you have to have a win.
That goes with that, where you are putting the weight of the fan base on your shoulders. If you had lost this game, you're riding a 3-game losing streak. So to get that out of the way and kind of get that monkey off your back so you can genuinely go into that game, not necessarily playing with house money, but it's not a total train wreck disaster now if you lose that game, whereas had you lost 3 straight going in and then lost that one, then you're losing on a 4-game losing streak and you lost to Coach Cal, then you're like, man, this is getting away from us pretty darn quick.
Yeah, there's already going to be, I think, some pressure on this game on Saturday, but winning here today gives you just a little bit and if you do lose, you asked me before the game, which one would you rather have? And I said before the game, every smart person would say, oh, you'd much rather get the win here and have another major quad 1 win. A quad 2 loss doesn't destroy anything. So you would think this one, I said, but you can't lose to Arkansas. So if I had to choose one, now, can I get greedy now since we won this one?
Yeah.
So you got to win both.
You're a Kentucky fan. You
got to win both
earn
now.
the right to be greedy. Like, that's what this is all about. You do this for that reason.
It is wild, though, because this is such an intense game. The Tennessee fans, I know that the ones who come here to see them play against Kentucky in this building for the last 3 years. And let me talk about that really fast. 3 straight years. I've come into this building, Kentucky has come into this building, where I didn't think in any of those times that I'd think Kentucky was going to win. And they went 3-0.
You know why? Do you know why we're 3-0? The Fairfield Inn in Knoxville. My goodness, I don't know what it is, but
We got to go Cats on the way out, too.
by the front desk.
Yeah.
You were like, do you know where you live? Do you know?
He probably does. He's like, I hate these people.
He lives in Knoxville and gave us a Go Cats on our way to go watch the Kentucky versus Tennessee game. My favorite front desk person of all time, but we stayed in that place the last 3 times, and we are now 3-0 down here in Knoxville, this dirty, ugly, nasty, grimy, disgusting orange. We get to gracefully wear this blue out in pride, and we can still look around in happiness and look for a Final Four banner that we will never, ever, ever find.
Where do they hide them all?
Like, where are they? I was told that there would be somewhere. I see.
Surely. I mean, a building this big and no
Allen
Final
Houston,
Fours?
I see Chris Lofton. I see Candace
Did you know-
Parker.
George Mason has gone to a Final Four, Jack. I'm sure Tennessee's has got to. That can't be right.
That says Sweet 16.
I see a couple Elite Eights up there. Well, who else? It's so
I
weird.
don't know.
FIU has gone to a Final Four, Jack. San Diego State.
Yeah.
Did I say what I say?
FIU.
Yeah, they probably have. They have? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's amazing, though, and I'm going to be serious for a second. They care about basketball. I mean, no other place outside of Kentucky in the SEC puts in this many fans. I mean, they care about it, and they have a really good team. They've had a really good team for several years. You would think a Final Four is coming down the. I mean, this is a fan base it's kind of wild. This has got to be the biggest failure of like. It's a fan base that genuinely cares.
So
And to never do it is kind of wild.
I've made this joke a couple times. Not even a joke. I think it's genuinely serious. But when you lose to Clemson at Clemson, there's this like, yay, sports.
Hey, they made a Final Four.
We love basketball. Go sports.
Yeah, right.
The round ball, like, they're a football school. They don't give a damn about basketball,
Yeah.
but they pretend to care because Kentucky's in town. You kind of got that vibe with Vanderbilt too, where it was like a 70-30 split with Kentucky fans outweighing the Vandy fans, but there was still kind of this sense of like, yay, we're gonna go rush the floor.
Go sports.
Go sports.
Yeah.
They care here. Like they're pissed when
they were
when they lose these games. They are pissed. And it gives me such great joy to send them home upset. They were leaving for the exits. We were only up 3.
It was a 3-point game.
We were only
You
up
thought
3
that was
with
weird
like a minute
too.
left, and they started hitting the exits. They were like,
We've seen this before.
We're cooked. We're toast. I'm so glad that they went home sad, and they're gonna volunteer their way, crying over spilled milk.
You're right. It was a 3-point game. Kentucky still has to get the ball in bounds. And credit Otega Owe, stepping up to the line, hitting 4 straight free throws.
After like 97 missed free throws in a row, but between the missed free throws and the offensive rebounds given up, I was pulling my hair out.
I was
on
too.
Press row, but
We missed 3 free throws that could have pushed the lead to 10. Missed every single one of them. Real quick, I know we got to wrap this up. Have we talked about Amari Williams and how great he played?
happy birthday, Amari Williams.
Yes.
The best birthday of all time. Mark Pope
He said that.
Mark Pope said that he wanted to avoid singing happy birthday to him before the game because they didn't want like any bad juju. Like, no, we're going to sing happy birthday to him after a win. There is no way around it. We have to sing to him afterward in celebration because we're expecting a monster performance for you. He goes out there, 10 points, 15 rebounds, playing point guard for a lot of the games.
He drove the ball to the basket.
Bringing the ball to the floor. He was great. He really was great. And he is the most kind of polarizing player on the roster because he does have some lows, but man, his highs are so unbelievably brilliant. And this team would be nothing without Amari Williams. And he was, Ansley is my personal MVP, but there is a very strong argument to be made that Amari Williams is belonging to that conversation as well. I thought Amari was great.
15 boards, 4 of 6 from the free throw line. Yeah, he's getting. I mean, he's getting to a point where I'm starting to like count on him to make these, knock down these free throws, and yeah, I mean,
4 assists.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, like I thought Trent Noah hitting a big 3. I mean, he had 5 points.
Let us know in the chat.
Yeah, who's your MVP?
No.
Oh, not that. Okay.
There was a guy, somebody on KS board who said that the new nickname for Trent Noah is Mountain Mamba. And I think it's brilliant. I think it's incredible. I love
that is so good.
I talked to Trent's
Put it
dad.
on a T-shirt.
I said it to Trent's dad afterward, and I got his like blessing. Like, hey, do you like Mountain Mamba? He's like, that's pretty darn cool. I'm not gonna lie. Jackson Robinson was a little iffy. If you watch the post-game interview with Jackson, he was like, I'm not real sure about it. But hey, we are speaking this into existence. Trent Noah is the Mountain Mamba. He is going to come in. He is going to fire away. Unconscious shooter. He hits it from 30 feet at the top of the key. My guy, Trent Noah, huge minutes for that guy.
Yeah, and of course, Eastern Kentucky's gonna love him.
Mountain Mamba, baby.
And I thought he played pretty well defensively. There was a time in the game where I was like, hey, maybe we need to get Trent Noah in.
He was in there for the last possession.
Yeah. That was actually that time of the game where I was like, okay, I know some guys are breathing kind of heavy. They played 34. Maybe we get a little offense for defense. And yeah, man, you can go up and down this roster, like you said, and even Andrew Carford even giving it a shot to try to go. And I love this, and I don't know, maybe this is probably the last thing I got to say about the game. Well, we're going to talk for 4 hours on the way home about how awesome it was. But I loved it. At the end of the game, of course, as is tradition here now in Knoxville, we had a Go Big Blue chant going in the final few seconds, and I got this. It's on our Instagram. It'll be on our TikTok, Twitter, whatever. And Kerr over there on the bench doing Go Big Blue was so awesome. And they were just giving a little wave to the student section. This feels good. I mean, as bad as I felt, I'm going to tell you, like I woke up Sunday and I was just like, this sucks. Like we got to go down to Knoxville and try to steal one, and did it without a point guard. I mean, it's so crazy how this league is this year, and how random it can be, and how like your emotions are just going up and down with every result. And like, I was, you saw me on the way back from Nashville. I was not in the best of moods, and now I'm just like, this is great. I love this sport. This is so good. It's so good. Yeah. It's fun.
Parting thoughts for me, Zakai Ziegler, 1 of 11 from 3.
Nice.
Shoot, bud. Hey, I wholeheartedly support your efforts to continue shooting.
Did they bank in one today?
Yes, they did, and we broke the banking curse. Thank God. Also, 3 for 10 for Chaz Lanier. We got the win in the head-to-head. Kentucky went with Jackson Robinson. Tennessee went with Chaz Lanier. We got the head-to-head win there. Unbelievable performance for the Cats. What a way to just kind of get to the emotional game here on Saturday, the one that we've all had circled on our calendars. This was a tricky one to go into, and they responded in unbelievable fashion, and now we can go home and celebrate yet another win here in Knoxville. Gotta love this place, because we are getting used to winning way, way, way more often than Tennessee fans are. And I'm going to continue to enjoy it at that Fairfield, and go Cats.
Boom.